This week I decided to try out my video blog idea because I figured it would just be more interactive and fun and maybe briefer. I don't know. I'm gonna try, and that way there won't be like a huge text spiel as well. I'll probably have like a couple notes and stuff, but that's about it. So this week, at the season 2 episode 15, which I know I'm behind, but this episode is entitled War, and it's pretty like obvious that we're like building up to this like great big point where everything's gonna come to a head, and this is like one step closer. And I mean, war is like a really unsubtle title, but whatever. And so this episode opens with the Justice League's trial on Rimbor, that faraway random planet which, I mean, it's nice that we're finally seeing it because they left it like the beginning of season 2. They'd be like, oh, we're going to our trial, and we haven't seen the trial for a really long time. But the trial is basically Superman is trying to defend the Justice League, saying that they were like brainwashed, and so that they don't actually go around attacking people, and that this was not their fault. Of course, this sounds pretty ludicrous regardless of who it's coming from. I mean, I was brainwashed. It's like the insanity plea almost. And so, but the interesting stuff going on in the trial is that the Krolataeans, were those aliens from before, were trying to bribe the defendants, which I take to mean they're trying to bribe the Justice League. And apparently the League originally said yes, but now they backed out, which is weird that they would say yes to begin with, considering that they're supposed to be like this like paragon of virtue. But I suppose, shades of gray, that's what this whole season's about. And the other big thing is Vandal Savage, the guy who orchestrated the whole brainwashing, was actually at the trial, and he manipulates this big, like, hunking, Hulk, angry type strongman named Mongol into like attacking the League, because Mongol apparently was kicked off his like planet where he was dictator, and now his plan is to take over the entire universe in order to get his planet back, which villain logic? I don't know. But I don't know, Vandal Savage was really interesting because I didn't watch this episode until after I'd read Sherlock for this week, or read the Sherlock Holmes short stories, and he seemed very Moriarty to me. Like, he basically is kind of manipulating all of these like lackeys and like dumber villains into doing all of his dirty work for him, but making it nigh impossible to trace his stuff back to him. Of course, the League knew it was him because he like kind of appeared before them and was like, look, I brainwashed you all, when he did the brainwashing last season. But this stuff is all like really like, no one's going to know it's him. They're just going to assume it's this angry guy who has a vendetta, because he has a vendetta. And I mean, it's stupid, but it's still a vendetta. And so, of course, then we get to the Death Star ripoff, which is the war world, which is like planet type space station type thing. Basically, it's a Death Star. It's like not even trying to not be a Death Star. And I mean, like, I saw that, I literally just went in my head, that's no moon, that's a space station. So yeah, I don't know. It was like, basically, this is Mongol's thing that he's going to attack the Earth with, and essentially can blow up whole planets. It is a Death Star. And speaking of Mongol, that name has some really like awful implications about like savagery and like Asianness, and I don't know. This is just me trying to read into stuff. And then other things going on. Well, when the war world approaches Earth, there's all these gravitational disruptions from the new heavenly body or whatever. And I mean, I don't know, I appreciated that because comic book science is usually a float of bull, but like this time it was actually like somewhat accurate, because if there was another thing in the sky, yeah, the tides would get really screwed up. And I don't know. And then you have these scenes of the Reach like standing with the UN saying, we will do something about this issue. And it's really scary how quickly the Reach has taken over Earth, like how much they have like integrated themselves into the government. They're basically speaking for the United Nations at this point, which I mean speaks to how much the public is disillusioned with the Justice League, but also just is really scary on principle. And I don't know, watching the team go and infiltrate the war world was really, really like, I just didn't realize how young they were until this point, because so many of them are actually younger than the original team was in season 1. Who, I mean, okay, Robin was 13, but like Robin was mostly not a 13-year-old. He was actually the most experienced out of all of them because Batman is crazy. But they were all like 15, 16, which I mean still crazy young to be going around saving the world, but like these kids are like 14, 13. They're all like, they average that age, and it's really terrifying seeing them all like saving the world. I mean, I don't know, like, it's weird watching shows where people are younger than me now, because I'm so used to watching shows where everyone's older than me, and because like that's the childhood of watching shows about high schoolers, but now high schoolers are younger than me. Anyways, but it was just really, really strange, and also like, I've not been attached to the new team at all because I'm so fixated on the fact that I never get to see the team that I originally fell in love with in season 1. But like watching them fight Mongol and all of his little drone alien like lackeys was really like I actually kind of cared about them, which was kind of surprising to me. And then okay, I just want to take a little while to talk about Mal and Karen, who are a like beta couple, like other ship going on in the team. They're basically, I don't know, throughout all of this season they've been like trying to play up the thing where like their relationship is kind of like tense and estranged because Karen's taking Mal for granted, and like Mal is like kind of stuck at the cave while Karen has superpowers and is like turning into a bumblebee and flying everywhere. But I just felt like, I mean, I'm glad they're finally addressing it because it was starting to get really irritating that they were trying to, like, they were clearly, like, trying to drive the point home in a really, like, unsubtle fashion, I guess, because it's supposed to be, the show is supposed to be for 10-year-old boys. But it's, I don't know, it's just not done particularly well as much as I enjoy that they're actually addressing it. Like, yeah, I mean, I get the whole, like, Karen at one point is like, really doing this in the middle of a mission? And like, obviously, the only time to do it is in the middle of a mission because Karen is always in the middle of a mission, which Mal says. But I just think that the show does a really good job of like tension and unsaid relationships and like subtle building up of ships. Like, I mean, Artemis Wally is like my like OTP of all OTPs, and like that, like the tension there is really, really well done, and like the tension in any kind of ship is really, really well done. And they, of course, they do bromance pretty well, and they do female friendships pretty well. But when they get to like explicit relationships, like when they're established and they're clearly a couple, it starts to come off as a little tacky. And like maybe it's because they're trying to like be like, look, little boys, they're in a relationship. But I don't know, like when Karen and Mal like reconcile at the end, it just gets really, really cheesy and really awkward really fast. Like when they're like, Mal's trying to break up with her and he's just like, you were destined for great things. I'm like, really? It just, oh, that's so awkward. And okay, but I did like the line where it was like, good luck, beautiful. I mean, I always like things like that. That's just me. And so about that, like, okay, moving on from Mal and Karen though, Arsenal, who I talked about a couple of reviews ago, who's Roy Harper's clone, he really worries me because he has some deep-seated issues with like being captured and like being abandoned, and like those are really horrible, but like at the same time he's doing so much damage to the team as a result. Like he doesn't consider anyone when he just fires off his attacks. He like Superboy is nigh indestructible, but he's still like firing like bazookas at Superboy, which is not exactly advisable. Like, you're not supposed to do that to your teammates. And then he also like runs away and like opens the airlock in a space station because he's freaking out that Blue Beetle's attacking them, and that just really concerns me because I feel like something really bad is going to happen with him. Like I said in the beginning that he is a breaking point. He's going to like, there's going to be his arc is going to coincide with the like actual plot arc, but it really is. It's like really actually freaking me out. And I mean, but talking about like regarding other people, like I don't know, he could have killed his teammates. Like that's really, really scary. And he just like runs off and is like, every man for himself, when they're supposed to be a team, and like he just doesn't function very well on the team. And okay, but regarding the other parts of the team, the Tim and Bart fist bump, like it was just a really small throwaway moment, but it's really cute. It's really nice to see that like Bart is like bonding with everyone on the team, and that like even like Tim, the new Robin, who's so like, I want to be serious like Batman, he's like, they've got a friendship going. And I don't know, when Jaime knocks everyone out, I can't deal with it because Jaime Reyes, I'm sorry, I've been calling him Jamie, that's so awkward. I'm reading my notes and his name is actually Jaime. That's really awkward. I'm really sorry. His name is Jaime. And Jaime knocks everyone out. It's really devastating because he's such a sincere character, and like the like suddenness of his face heel turn is really, really terrifying. Like obviously this is like the Reach at work, but it's just so like really, he was such a nice guy, and there was so much, everyone was so happy about his bromance with Impulse, and then he goes and whacks Impulse in the head with a giant rock. Like that's just terrifying. I mean, I don't even know what's going to happen next. He left them all on like a random space station that's been abandoned and doesn't have like someone driving it anymore. And so I'm just like really at a loss for what can even happen next. I'm hoping that the next episode will get some more like whatever's going on under the ocean with McGann and Aqualad and Artemis, but I really just, that was such a sucker punch way to end the episode. Like I don't even think I'm using that phrase correctly, but literally punch to the gut. So yeah, that's basically me on this episode, and now my video's running out of time, so I gotta go now.